Good evening, or good night, wherever you are, or even good morning for those of you who are tuning in. It's been a long time. It's been an extremely long time, and I'm back, right? And I wanted to talk about something that came up recently in the social media streets. Those of you who are familiar with Tabitha Brown, right? She had some comments that she made recently that ruffled a few feathers, and we're gonna play the video, right? And we're gonna react to it and talk about it because I think it's an important conversation, right? So Tabitha Brown pretty much said to all struggling entrepreneurs, you need to find a job, you need to go back to work, right? And that ruffled a lot of feathers, made a lot of people angry, right? And then there were a lot of people who agreed with it as well. Did you hear about it? Did you like were you offended? Like I need to know your opinion. What's your thoughts? Leave it in the comment section so I can know, right? What are you thinking about what she said? And those of you who haven't heard about it yet, let me play it real quick so that we can have some commentary around it. Because I think from the surface, it looks like a comment, right? Or like a the conversation that she was having, it didn't seem like it was anything that would ruffle feathers, but a lot of people were perturbed by it, right? And if you were one of those people that were perturbed and you want to discuss, definitely let me know. I can bring you on and we can have that discussion. Um, but yeah, it's been definitely a talk. People have been talking about it, and it's been an interesting conversation piece. And we're going to dive into that today. I think it's important. I think it's important to have these conversations. And sometimes, whenever we make clips or different social media posts, people may not take it the right way, right? And I know for her, she even came on and did two separate videos clarifying what she was saying, right? One of the things she mentioned in future videos was that she wasn't talking to every entrepreneur. She was really just speaking to the struggling entrepreneur, the entrepreneur that is in business, has borrowed money from people potentially, is not able to generate income, and instead of them continuing on with trying to beat a dead horse and nothing's happening, why not go get employment and have revenue, have income coming in so that you can now continue to live the life that you want to live, but then also have additional revenue to support or additional income to support your business dreams, right? I think that that's important. I think you have to get into the habit of generating income, whether it's in your business or outside of your business. You have to be in that habit. You have to be in that space because now that does something to you, right? It helps you to just keep pushing forward. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get into this, right? Because this is a pretty important conversation. And let me hold on real quick. Let me get this together so that we can watch this. But before I do, I see a few comments have come through. Let me read the comments real quick. Uh, Miss Accountant said it's the truth. The ones that be begging, basically. Adeze, what's going on? You said you watched it and it's bullseye. And then Bigger Than Food Foundation said if you have to clear it up, your message didn't land. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Right. Adeze also said, I believe she was an Uber driver while she was hustling to get to where she needed to be. Right. So let me share the video and we're gonna play it so that everybody can hear it and have an opinion on it. All right. I'm about to play it real quick.
And you're doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mm.
Okay, you done got yourself in some mess, and it's time for you to get a job. You hear me? You just gonna need to get a job for a little while. Okay, it don't mean your ideas ain't good. Okay, it don't mean that maybe one day you could be a good entrepreneur, but you have proven to yourself and everybody else that you owe money to. Okay, um, that it ain't working right now. Okay, it ain't worked for a while. It actually has never worked yet. Doesn't mean it won't ever work. But right now, you need to go to work. You will need to get a job. Okay, and then keep working towards it. But at least you'll have a job while you are pursuing that thing. But right now, you need to get a job, baby. All right, that's it. I love you. Now go about your business. Okay, have a good night. Tomorrow, have a good day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's hand. Don't be mad at me. Okay? Uh, hello
All
again.
right. So for those of y'all who are just watching that for the first time, let me know what you thought about that. And then for those of you who have seen it already, and I know a few of you giving your opinion in the comment section, but let me know exactly what you're thinking after you just watched that. Was it offensive? Was it something that people should have taken offensively and should have taken to heart? Or was it the cold hard truth for some people and they should have told themselves, you know what, even though it's hitting me right here, I appreciate you saying that, and I need to take that into consideration. I need to go find employment, and I may not necessarily need to quit my business to find employment to stack onto the business that I'm operating, right? So that way I'm generating revenue, I'm generating income to continue to grow the business and to continue to do the things I need to do. Because all of us know, a lot of us have been sold the dream of you don't necessarily you can start a business without any kind of money, right? And in a lot of instances, you can. There are a lot of businesses that you potentially could start with little money, but if there are a lot of businesses that you need money to start, and there's a lot of businesses that you have come into the business to create it with money, and now that money is dried up. And so what do you do? Do you gamble and do you like go ask people to give you some money to continue your dream? Or do you figure out how to generate that money from a side hustle, a job, something, right? That's a common decision that a lot of people have to make, right? I talk with people a lot about that, and I'm always a big believer that you have to be in the space of consistently generating income, whether it's from your job or whether it's from your business. You have to be in that space of generating income, right? And we all experience times where we have dry periods of no money really coming in, but it shouldn't be prolonged. It shouldn't be something that is months, right? At some point, you have to make that decision to say, you know what, I need to pivot what I'm doing. I need to probably try a different business. I probably need to try a different marketing method. I probably need to look at my sales strategy that I'm implementing. I'm getting the leads, they're coming to the calls, but I'm just not able to close them. What am I doing wrong in that situation? There's always a story, or there's data and there's things that explain a lot of things that are going wrong in our business. And are we paying attention to those kind of things? If we're not, we're doing ourselves a disservice, right? So in the very beginning of your business, it's a very hard place to be in, right? There's a lot of things that you have to do, and you can't pay anybody to do it because you have limited funds. So you have to do it all by yourself. And there's lonely nights. There's nights where, you're in the business, you're doing everything that you can, but the business just isn't moving, and right at that point where you might say, I need to give up, is probably your breakthrough point, right? But it's still important though to go find some kind of employment to supplement what you're doing so that you can continue to pay the bills that you need to pay. You can continue to live a certain life. But entrepreneurship is not easy. And I think a lot of people are experiencing that. A lot of people are realizing that because I know back in 2021, 2022, when the money was flowing, we were all sold something, right? We were all like, hey, everyone should start a business. That was what social media was telling people. If you don't start a business, something's wrong with you. You need to be in business, and you need to, leave your job. And now we're in a situation where people are saying, no, you need to go back to your job. So it's just one of those things, right? Where I always say that you have to pick your heart. After a specific age, life gets, I guess you could say, not easy, right? But it gets challenging. And for many people, that age might be 25, it might be 28, it might, but life changes. And the reason why I say that is because think about it like this. Let's say you get a job, and in order for you, obviously, the more money you make, the more responsibility you have. And once you start getting responsibility piled on you, now you're in a situation where going to work may not be as enjoyable as it used to be, because now you have a certain level of responsibility when it comes to the workload that you have, when it comes to the people that you are probably responsible for. And so now people are expecting more out of you. And if you haven't encountered that stress yet, then your revenue or the money that you're making from your job or your business may not be at a certain level, right? And so even then, even if you don't have any stress at your job and your income isn't at a certain level, the stress, the hard that I'm talking about now comes in the form of I'm not making enough money to support myself or my family. You see what I'm saying? And so now what ends up happening is people are like, you know what? You're experiencing hardship at your job. You should leave it and go start a business because it'll probably be easier. And what people don't realize is when you start that business, you have entered a whole new level of hard. You've entered a whole new level, right? As entrepreneurs, even me right now, I should be in bed right now. It's 10 o'clock, but I'm up doing this because I enjoy it, but I also have to do it for my business if I want it to grow, right? And so now that's a whole nother level of hard because now there's no safety net of revenue or income coming in every 2 weeks. You are in the space of whatever money I make is based on what I kill that day, right? Whatever money I make, it's not a oh, you know what? Wednesday's here, payday's here, and I'm gonna get my $3,000 or $2,000 check. And then I wait 2 weeks and I get that again. It's I wake up, I look at my account. Hopefully I got some money in it. If I don't, I need to go figure out how to get some money in it. And I wake up and do that every single day. Rinse and repeat, right? That's a whole new level of hard. And it doesn't get easy. Now, when we say hard, we also got to factor in whenever you have children or whenever you get married or, if you choose to do those things, right? That's a whole nother level of hard. If you have parents that are aging, that's a whole new level of hard. If you have different people in your life that are experiencing hardship, that's a whole new level of hard, right? If you have illnesses or anything that you're dealing with or anything that your children might be dealing with, that's a whole new level of hard. So life is not easy, you know, and you have to make decisions. You got to make decisions in a timely manner because if you don't, that could make you more in a situation to where you are even more stressed, right? And now you're battling all these things mentally, right? So I just wanted to talk about that. I think that's extremely important. Let me read some of the comments though. Daryl says, "By any means necessary." What's going on, man? Bigger Than Food Foundation says her seasonings didn't work either. Fooled us with white label McCormick's. Oh man, Daryl says sometimes you have to work to fund your passion. It's okay to pivot and take a step back. It doesn't mean you failed. Failing forward can be your biggest blessing in that. I agree. I definitely agree with you. And Bigger Than Food Foundation said 93,000 jobs created. Finding a job is hard as this is an entrepreneurial market. That's another thing too, right? There's been reports, obviously, we've heard it. 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs, right, over the past. I don't know how many months. I don't know if it's for the total year or not, but um, it's been a hard job market. And so even saying go find a job, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll probably be able to find a job that you want. Matter of fact, I'm sure I can speak for some entrepreneurs who have left the job world and that are now trying to re-enter it, that same job that you're trying to now get that you used to work probably isn't even available right now. Right. So that's a whole new level of hard that you have to deal with. Let me read some other comments. Io, what's going on? Daisy said at all. Or oh man. So yeah, it's definitely, it's a conversation piece. It's something that's important to talk about because how we deal with stress is extremely important. Matter of fact, all of you who are viewing, how do you deal with stress? How do you handle whenever hard things happen? Let me know in the comments, right? What's your coping mechanism? Is it like, do you take walks? Do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you talk to a therapist? What are the ways that you cope with things that are happening? It's important for us to have coping mechanisms, right? Because there's always going to be something that is challenging to deal with, right? And when I talked about the whole hard, right, like you being an entrepreneur, you working a job, and you having to juggle family, you having to juggle friends, you having to juggle relationships, you having to juggle paying bills, right? Even that alone, coming home and handling the chores and the things around the house that need to be done every single day, right? I've seen people on social media, right? Like I've seen different stories around how there were people that got kicked out of their house because they ignored bills that were owed to their city, right? And whether that was willfully done, that's still another responsibility that you have to be on top of everything else that's going on in your life. And what if that person that got kicked out of their house, and I'm sure y'all have heard about that story, but what if that person had a lot of other things going on that they felt was more important that they had to handle, right? How do you deal with all that? It's extremely important to figure out how to deal with those things, right? So, I think it was a situation where she probably just came on live and she probably said to herself, you know what, I'm just gonna have a quick conversation and get some views, get some likes, get some comments, and it's nothing's gonna else is gonna come of it, right? And then she didn't realize that it was gonna backfire the way it did. Um, Let me play the other video that she had as well in response to it. I want y'all to see that and hear that. And I want to get y'all's opinion on that as well. Let's see. Okay, I'm about to share the screen. All right.
Hello there. Honey, y'all all right? Baby, the way y'all have cut up on this day, okay? Listen, and I done set some folk off on today. And let's start with, honey, I said what I said, and I have said it for the last 8 years. My journey is I worked while I pursued my dreams. I had all kind of odd jobs. I still am a firm believer that you can work a job while you're pursuing your dreams, while you're pursuing your business, whatever your entrepreneurship goals are. I still believe that. That is what I said. I'm not going to change it, right? You may not agree with that. And that's okay. That's your business. But what I'm saying is there are folk out here hurting themselves and others because they refuse to go get a new job. They refuse to. Those are the people I'm talking to. I don't agree with that. But yes, we all know that there's some hard times going on. I'm not talking to the people who are trying. I'm specifically talking to, like I said in both my videos, entrepreneurs with that spirit that a job is beneath them and they don't want to do like nothing else other than that. But no money is coming in and they need it. Nothing is wrong with having a temporary job while you pursue your dream. Is y'all crazy to think that I would talk about people who are trying? Now y'all know better than that. Now listen, if baby, everybody ain't gonna like to help. You can just not like me, but making up stuff, just being mad for no real reason. You just don't like me, baby, and that's all right. You can just not like me. But what I have said is nothing new. I've said it for years as I shared my journey. You can pull up a million videos where I said the exact Same thing. Sometimes we're gonna have to go get a little job for to hold us over until the thing breaks through. And nothing is wrong with that. So you can be upset. You can even not like me. But this is my truth. I know it's tough out there, and I know that sometimes we all want somebody that we can be mad at or somebody that we can touch that really ain't got nothing to do with the issue. And if I need to be your punching bag to make you feel better, have at it. But just make sure you know what your real truth is. Okay? I'm not your enemy. I love you. Okay? Despite what you may think about Tab, I love you. Okay? I still think you can get a little job until that thing breaks through. We can work while pursuing our dreams. And that's okay. All right. That's it. I love you. Good night. Hello there.
Yes. Okay. So we just saw the reaction video that Tabitha had to everybody piling on her. Um, I see some comments on Facebook though. Faye, how are you? You said, I just see this. She is not wrong, and I don't see why people think it's wrong. My business is not struggling. It's somehow stable, but not at the level I was expecting. I took a job offer with one of the biggest Canadian insurance companies. Reason number one, benefits. I funded my business 9 years ago with money from my 9 to 5 call center job. And if you're organized enough, you can do both. It's not easy. It hasn't been easy. I pray, walk all of it. Thank you for that, Faye. Old Lady Hustler said, I shut down and worked through the issue. Yeah, it's definitely something, right? That it's interesting, right? Because she's funny, and I feel like her responses sometimes have like a spiciness to it or whatever, right? But you know, it's she said something. She said that if you have been following her and you know her story, you know that she used to drive Uber. She used to do a lot of odd end jobs and things back in the day before her business and everything took off. So this is not, and this is something that's been consistent in her message for years. So this is not anything new that she said. She's been saying it. She mentioned that, and then she also said that when times are tough, people are looking for someone that they can touch, right? That can be a punching bag. And so if you want her to be your punching bag, she's fine with that. But she wants you to focus on your truth of what's going on in your life, right? So interesting commentary. Always Squidisha said, currently I'm learning or visiting creative to ease my stress as an entrepreneur. I'm learning how to crochet right now. I love that. I love that. You got to find something that you can pretty much do in your spare time that's going to really take you away from the stress of whether it's your job, whether it's your business that's not possibly doing well, or even if it is doing well, you're still going to have stress. Here's another thing too that I want to talk about when it comes to pick your hard, right? Because there's people who have jobs that they enjoy. They're being paid extremely well and they enjoy going to work every single day. But even that's not guaranteed because, if you have a manager or someone that's over you and they decide to leave the company, there's no guarantee that the person that's coming in is going to be just like them, if not better. They might be very good at their job, but they may not be able to form the relationship with you that you already had with your previous boss. And now the job or a company that you work for that you loved, you now hate that job because the person that is managing you, right? I think there's a saying that they say people quit managers. They don't necessarily quit their job. They quit the people that manage them, so there's just no guarantee, right? And even as we see that, there were people in the nonprofit government space, and from conversations that I've had with people in that space, they used to tell me like, man, going to work is not, it's not hard. It's relatively the same thing. Now, I'm not saying about that for every government job, right? But this is what people have told me. But even in that situation, we saw at the beginning of the year, a lot of people in the government space got laid off, right? So we're seeing that there's no guarantees of peace when it comes to work or your business, right? But I just want people to understand that having a business is not is not guaranteed happiness. It's guaranteed work. You're going to work. You're going to put in the work, but you have to do something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about. Well, you don't have to do that, but I think it makes it easier. It makes the work that you put in not feel like it's work because it's something that you probably would be doing for free if there was no money involved in it, right? So I wanted to make sure that I said that. Um, but yeah, no, this has been good, man. I do want to tell everybody that's watching, I have a school community. For those of y'all who are on school, even if you're not on school, you should definitely join my school community. It is school.com/8figure focus, right? And I do weekly trainings on there. And this week's training is around a patented system that I created called the CEO wealth system. So I'm going to break down the CEO wealth system that we use with a lot of our clients, where the way we look at business, well, the way I look at business is it's all about the products or services that I'm selling. Is it profitable, right? Do I have good margin on what I'm selling? And then if I have that, then now the overhead, the other expenses that I have in my business, are they being managed properly? So if those are working extremely well and I'm selling my product and my service at a really good rate, then now I have a big profit, which is a good thing, but it can also be bad depending upon how you view it, right? So when I say it could be bad, meaning now you have this big tax bill, but then you should be tax planning. And then if you tax plan, now the money that you have generated in your business, you can use that to invest in assets that can help grow your personal wealth. So we're going to talk about that more in depth on Thursday in the training. And I'm going to break that down and also give the past few trainings I've done, I've given away like books and different things. So, if you're definitely interested in attending, you will get something for attending. And if you didn't see any of the past trainings that I've done, they're in the school community. So definitely join. It's free. There's no charge currently. They may not be that way forever, but at the moment, it's free each month, right? So just definitely wanted to tell everybody about that. And yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I know it's late, right? Where I'm at 10:30, right? But definitely wanted to touch on this topic because I was seeing it everywhere, right? I was seeing a lot of conversation around it. And there were a lot of entrepreneurs that were kind of, I guess you could say, dumbfounded, right? They were like, why is this even a conversation? But then there was a lot of people that were like, no, this is a conversation because what she said is not right. And, there were things that I saw that people were saying that shouldn't have even been a conversation, period. She shouldn't have even said it, right? Because it didn't need to be said. We already know this. So why are you ramming this down our throat, right? Um, but I also think some of that could possibly be some built up anger towards the Target issue that happened with her, right? So I don't know. But the message I didn't think was too bad, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. But man, I appreciate y'all for coming on. I know y'all are sleepy, so I'll let y'all get some rest. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go live tomorrow around, I think, 2 p.m. And I'm also going to do the training on Thursday at 2 p.m. as well. So I will see you guys later. Y'all have a good rest of the night, and we'll talk soon.